for today's cup of coffee with Scream, and it is Scream.
Oh.
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 God. It just keeps getting worse. It really does.
I mean, if this is as bad as it's getting, that's not that we're good.
No,
we're good.
No, this ain't we ain't seen nothing yet. Ain't seen nothing yet. Yeah.
Bullshit, man.
One of the things that I had thought about this morning, in addition to, I just sort of, since I didn't get the Serenity thing, it was like, okay, copy breaks over, back on your head. Anyhow, but got to thinking about Pink Floyd's
Wait, what?
The Wall.
You didn't get the Serenity thing? What?
Yesterday.
What?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It just is. It just is. But as far as got to thinking about Pink Floyd's The Wall, some people think about the fall of the Roman Empire. I think of Pink Floyd's The Wall. Because this is something that I don't think that some people really got the film. And maybe they have over the years. And it's interesting because I have watched this film over and over and over. And it says that it was a 1982, I'm reading this off of Wikipedia, 1982 British live action / adult animated surrealist musical drama. And it was based on Pink Floyd's 1979 album, The Wall. And that the screenplay was written by Pink Floyd vocalist and bassist Roger Waters. And that Bob Geldof, I have no idea who the Boomtown Rats were, but he was the vocalist for them. Okay. He better be glad that he took the starring role as Pink, because he probably would have been into the dustbin of history.
Yeah,
had it not been for that. And this was his star debut on this. And, that was something that I did post on X this morning. It's like, maybe people need to watch or rewatch it. It's important.
It's definitely worth a study.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Study it. Study it.
And for years, I have said that this is the best representation of the development of a psychosis that has ever been made.
Yeah.
It really should be shown in every Psych 101 class.
It's that intense.
It is. It's that important.
Yeah.
Because it is very complex as a film. The music that goes along with it is brilliant. And I think that the more times I watch it over the years, and maybe it's just my appreciation for the music and the vocals and the lyric style that goes perfectly with this. Mm-hmm. That I can see different elements in it every time that I watch it, which is a good thing. That is when you have a true masterpiece. And the first time that I saw it, which was in the 80s, and people are going, you can't understand it unless you're stoned. And I thought, no, you're just an idiot. Because, and this is going to be a spoiler because we're going to discuss different elements.
Ignorance.
Yeah, really. And it starts with, this gentleman who is in the war. And I think it was supposed to be maybe World War II, but some of the uniforms almost looked like World War I, but I don't think that would have been accurate.
Mm-hmm. Some of the costuming very much reminiscent of Nazi.
Yeah, the second part of it did, but when it first came in, and it could have been elements of both, because you did have World War I, and then you had World War II, and England or Britain, whichever you prefer, was right there in both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of individuals who died during these wars. And so you had this kid that was born during this period of time, but it shows about his father's demise due to the bombs.
Yeah.
And so then you've got single mother trying to raise this young boy. And as he gets a little bit older, it shows, it's heart-wrenching. This is not one of these light and fluffy movies at all.
Oh no, that's why I'd say that it's intense.
And that you've got this child, and he goes to the playground, and the mother was not there with him like some of the other parents. She had gone shopping and had just dropped the child off at the playground. And so he sees the interaction that some of the other children have with their parents, and he wants that. And he was probably maybe 3 or 4 or something like that at that point. And that they had one of those little carousel type things, and that there was a gentleman that was pushing the other children on there. And so Pink had gone up and asked him, and the gentleman had put him on the little carousel and was pushing. And at a certain point, it was time for him and his child to go. And so his child had, his left hand, and Pink tries to takes the right hand of this man, and the man pulls away. And because this was so long ago, in some ways that was kind of odd. But it's also, people in Britain do things differently than we do here in America. And so Pink grabs for the man's hand again. And the man, again, jerks away and he sort of pushes the child, not hard or anything like that, but tells him to go someplace else. And it was that rejection.
Yeah, it was kind of harsh.
Sure.
Like the adult being harsh, the kid just pitiful. It's just heartbreaking, heart-wrenching.
Sure. And it's just like, this is something that people in modern times have forgotten how a lot of things used to be.
Yeah.
Not only did you have, and it wasn't just I'm not picking just on England on this, because it happened over here too.
Yep.
And especially with the orphans and the treatment of orphans in some of these urban areas and different things like that in early parts of, there is no nation without sin. None.
Absolutely none.
And these wars, and how many people have grown up without fathers due to these damned wars that somebody said were necessary. Now, like I said, this is where a child that was born in 1965 is going to come out. Yeah. Because you've got these people that they send other people's kids into this shit.
They do.
But with Pink and the whole thing, his mother here, that was her husband that she had lost. She's trying to raise this child on her own the best she can, as far as we know. But that hole within his spirit, that loss of the father figure, really, is there, apparent.
Yeah.
And then he goes into the school system. And that's where you get
especially back then.
Oh, yeah. And that was where you have the wonderful anthem that has been around forever, A Brick in the Wall.
We don't need no education.
And it was so interesting
kids alone.
Because within that, how that the children were masked. Their faces, they had these just NPC type faces that were
flesh
altered.
blob.
Yeah.
Just.
And in recent events, it's like, oh shit, yeah. We've done that again. We have done that again. And as far as the schoolmaster, God, and his backstory, because he was just abusive as hell to these kids. such as him grabbing Pink's book where Pink had been writing, lyrics, and the song lyrics were to the song Money, and to shame him, reads it out to the class in a very scornful manner, pops Pink's knuckles with his little riding crop or whatever the hell he had. And the character that played him, God, he was brilliant. The man who played the character, rather. And his name was Alex McAvoy. And damn, he played a villain so well. But then the backstory on this teacher was that he had a wife that was villainous at home. Mm-hmm. And so he was, instead of him being a man and taking, she had his balls in a jar in a closet someplace.
Yeah.
And so he takes it out on these kids and how that happens so frequently. Mm-hmm. And within that, that's when you Pink, as far as you see these kids destroying the school and different things like that. And it was this daydream or fantasy or delusion. You don't really know. And it was interesting because as I was looking through IMDb, I always have to watch there, I'll screw that up. They had said that that there were alternative versions of this. That in the sequence where Pink and the other kids are rebelling and doing what they were doing and rioting, and it alludes to the fact that the school marm was thrown into the bonfire. But in that scene was deleted from the UK theatrical and Canadian VHS versions of the film because they were concerned that actual children would try it. I found that most interesting. But
yes, we don't want them to rebel, so we're going to prevent something from getting out to prevent them.
Don't even put it in their minds. Don't even put it in their minds. And it was interesting.
Lord knows we need to keep this fucking hierarchy bullshit running as long as we can.
The meat grinder. And it's exactly what it was. It was the meat grinder. And the teacher's famous quote, "If you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?"
Yeah.
And that somebody had freaked out. I had read on X, and this was happening in 2023.
This is what triggered the whole thing.
A meme triggered this. That some dude had freaked out, had gone in with 2 raw steaks in a vegan restaurant and was slapping people in the face with it. Saying this. "If you don't eat your meat." And it's like, did he freak out? Or was he just... for shits and giggles.
That was just for shits and giggles.
He was arrested.
So he did that. He took that as a cost. He accepted it.
Maybe.
Bro had the gall to stand up. He had the gall to stand for his humor.
Well, that's just like also, and I can't remember where it was, some Karen had bitched about the smell of people's barbecues, about the meat cooking.
When they
had pressed charges or something on her neighbors. Mm-hmm. Guess what the neighbors did? They lined up grill to grill.
All the neighbors?
Quite a few of them. There was a row of them.
Don't piss off the one.
Don't piss off the carnivores.
Yeah.
That's the main thing on that. But it sort of goes on through there, and the timeline on this is so odd because it goes from past, present, and, possible future, and then you have the animations in there. And as far as... Go ahead.
And all the different styles of animations,
too.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, the style of animation was great.
No joke. Same shit. Different font.
Okay.
The cycles.
Yeah.
Same shit. Different font.
Right. But within the song that they had I think it was called Mother. Let me look and see if it's called Mother. I've had to put this over here, and I'm trying to do 15 things at once. Yes, it is called Mother. And the song is a lot more detailed than what was shown in the movie. And they did play the song.
Yeah.
As far as the mother trying to protect the child, but also her helping build that wall. And especially that line, Mother will put all of her fears into you.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that happening lots. Lots. And at the end of the song, the wall, and he's like, Mother, did it have to be so high? And so then he's already got this wall around him.
Yeah.
And then he gets married, and he can't function the way that he's supposed to as a loving companion. Mm-hmm. The wife is trying to get him to pay attention, but already the mental health issues are so severe that he sort of zones out as far as TV instead of paying attention to her.
Yeah.
You can only push somebody away for so long before they start looking other places, which she did. And at this point, he already had a music career. Now, that was one of the things they never really went into the development of how he got into that.
Right.
Now, they did go a little bit as far as him going through the rebellion, and even as a child where he had started smoking dope and stuff like that, and looking at the neighbor older girl through the window. So there was already that rebellious spirit, and that's within those formative years. That's how this stuff happens.
Yeah.
So here he's got this music career. He was in America. His wife was still over in the UK. She had gotten some kind of hippie movement. They had the peace signs and stuff like that. She hooks up with dude that was over there. Pink tries to call home. Dude answers the phone. And he just sinks down the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible because Geldorf did an excellent job with character. He truly did. And even as far as the groupie scene, and I'm not doing this frame by frame as you can tell, for all of these people that started screaming this Me Too thing and all this stuff a few years ago, for those of us that have ever been to concerts and understand how it is that some of these people get backstage, that groupie scene was accurate. It was accurate. And then that was a different world back then.
Yeah. Nowadays, you don't really... It's hard to even fathom that.
Mm-hmm. It truly is. But here she got where she wanted to be, and he wasn't who she idolized him as. Yeah. He was not the stage persona. Mm-mm. And then he freaks the fuck out. He has a full-blown episode at that point.
Yeah. Starts
breaking shit, throwing shit. I mean, it was just crazy.
Yep.
And what's weird, she left, but she didn't tell anybody about him. Mm-mm. And then later, they finally, whoever, managers, come in and find him, and he is in a state of shit. He has, that scene where he had cut his eyebrows off.
Yeah.
He'd shaved those off, and he had shaved his chest and everything like that. And more than likely that blood was real. Yeah. I don't know whether it was or not, but it looked authentic.
It did.
And even as far as where he had grabbed hold of the glass, where he had thrown a TV through the the window, and he grabbed that, and it's one of those, it makes you hurt.
It does. If someone did like the special effects for it, if that was actual special effects, they did a damn good job.
They truly did. And so that's where, when they find him, the song, it's one of my favorite songs, Comfortably Numb. And that at that point, he is totally dissociated.
Completely.
And they don't give a damn. Just get him through the show. That was it. So, again, it was one of those people using him, but no actual caring and connection and stuff like that. It was fascinating, because then you start seeing these, they weren't really hot frames, but these inserted frames about maggots.
Yeah.
And as they're dragging him through the highway after they had injected him with whatever, and he morphs into this monster, which, again, with the maggots and stuff, and that feeling, him feeling diseased.
It looked zombie-esque.
I mean, it was a horror movie.
Yeah.
And
it was terrifying.
And that they throw him in the back of the vehicle, and him ripping at whatever this covering is over him. And what emerges out from under there is almost a Hitler-esque type creature. That when it takes the stage, and it is the abuser, it's the personification of the totalitarian that he was going to take power. He was going to make these people do and they did. They followed him. Made the same symbols and everything like that. But in one of the songs he was talking about, Pink isn't here. He's not well. He's back at the motel. I'm here. So, could have had some, dissociative identity disorder going on within that.
Could have. I mean, it's a layers upon layers.
It is.
Deep movie.
It is. And then as far as them going into the total animation scene.
Yeah.
And you find out, well, actually, a security guard had found him in the corner of a toilet stall. And he's trying to write, and he's chewing on his thumb, and he's dipping his hand into the toilet.
For some reason, it's like, why?
Because he was gone. He was just gone. And so you wonder, it's like, okay, was that whole Hitler-esque persona, was that another delusion? More than likely it was, yeah. Yeah. And then as far as the scene where he is sort of in a padded cell, or he's in some kind of asylum or hospital room or something, and he's in the corner, not quite in fetal position, but he's crouched down.
Yeah.
And you had child Pink that approaches him, and then adult Pink turns around and just screams. And that face.
Oh Lord, that was scary.
Yeah, if you've never been around somebody when they are truly having a mental health crisis of that level, yeah, and that piteousness, but also to understand that this is like somebody that it feels like a caged animal and can be dangerous.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the animation, and the animation is great. There's little snippets of it throughout, but where you've got the one that was judging him, which is this talking asshole, the personification, truly, and that they are judging him, and that the different parts, the animated part that was his wife, that was this creature, that was wanting to take care of him. Same thing with the mother figure. And at one point he had morphed into this little rag doll, just Nothing. Just little nothing. And then it goes back to Pink, and he's standing outside this huge wall, wearing only his boxers, and he's just beating on the wall.
Yeah.
And beating, and it goes on forever. You cannot see an end to it. You can't see the top of it. You can't see the length of it. It's just wow.
Mm-hmm.
But he starts beating on the wall and beating on the wall. And then it's shown just that wall, which seems like it goes on for eternity. And you're like, okay, what? And all of a sudden, this explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side of the wall, you see these small children picking up chunks and putting them in toys and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And kids like, what are they doing? It's like, okay, there are no adults there. This is the children, and we don't know if it can be interpreted many different ways.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see how you, like, each watch, you can be like, oh, wait, it's this. No, it's that.
Could it be a return to innocence?
Yeah.
To reclaim that child that was lost so many years ago. Yeah.
Maybe it could have been.
And within the final song, let's see if I can pull that up as far as what the final song was. Outside the Wall, where it talks about those on the outside beating their hearts against somebody else's wall of people trying to get through to him, and that they couldn't. So I like to think that had a healing message in the end.
Yeah.
I really do. And one of the original, I had posted this on X, one of the original members of Pink Floyd actually did have a severe mental health issue, and at one point had to be hospitalized, and he could no longer move forward with the band, and that it affected the other band members greatly. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that it changed their view on the world, because people that have never had to deal with a loved one that has mental illness, it truly becomes an illness when it impairs your ability to function.
Yeah.
They don't understand.
They don't. They really don't.
But I think movies like this, for those who are willing to learn,
it's an important watch.
I think it could be a great teaching tool. Yeah. I've always thought that. And the music on it is just amazing. And the vocals and stuff, that it's almost like this scream.
Mm-hmm. The art in it is incredible, and it's just filled with symbolism to the max.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So if it's been a while since you have seen this, experienced it, or maybe you've never thought about it this way, I do urge you, go back and give it another watch. I actually found it on YouTube, commercial free.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yes, it was. Now, I do have the DVD.
Yeah,
because I believe in physical media.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Really, really do.
Especially right now in today's day and age.
Yeah. While you can still find it, get you some copies, some DVDs and different things like that. But like I said, it's incredible. And how it's almost like they've come full circle over there in certain parts of it. Mm-hmm. Why don't humans learn?
I don't know, but the pendulum has to swing back the other way, so it should be doing that anytime now.
Yeah.
And that anarchy type shit, keeping people constrained, is going to fall again.
Yeah. Yeah. The human spirit can only be crushed down so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's one of those that comes back up and it's got resentment.
Everybody has their breaking point.
Yeah, they do. So is that your final thoughts on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, what's this have to do with paranormal and supernatural? It's all paranormal and supernatural.
Listen,
Every bit of it.
mental.
Mm-hmm.
It goes
It's
all into that shit.
Sure, it's a brokenness of spirit.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it was. We've got a lot of people. And I told kids, especially the animated part about the wife in Pink's version of it and whatnot. We got a lot of men that feel that. Mm-hmm. Yep. And that means men learn to get help and help yourself to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's other people out there that are trying to get through your wall. So if you've had experiences with paranormal or supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, tinfoil hats, please let us know your comments about Pink Floyd's The Wall. Mm-hmm. There you can send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com.
Sorry, I was taking a water break. BitChute, Rumble, YouTube. Give her a check out there. Werlanda's Cup of Coffee with Scream. Also check her out on X, previously known as Twitter. Werlanda, COCWS.
Yeah, I post a mixed bag of stuff over there.
Mm-hmm.
I really
Subscribe.
do. Yeah. Just,
Subscribe.
And pray. Yeah, we definitely we had a time for prayer.
Pray.
For each other, for other people, for the whole world. Know that you are loved. Treat other people the way that you would like to be treated.
Yes.
Please think that somebody's behavior that may not be who they are, that may be anger that they're acting out of, that does not mean that you put yourself in the firing line.
Mm-hmm.
If you know somebody, if you are having a mental health crisis, if you know someone who is, we do have a national, it's for America as far as a national mental health hotline.
Mm-hmm.
I have never had to call it because I don't.
Yeah, no.
But it's there. If you need help, please reach out, get help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Please.
And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cut.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.